Can you hear that? The sound of Davis Moturi pruning a tree in his own yard until surveillance video from cameras Moturi mounted around his property just in case something like this happened captured everything. The sound abruptly stops because the black homeowner was just shot in his neck.
I didn't know what happened because I think part of that was because when I was shot, the bullet struck my spine and then I also fell and cracked my skull.
He says it was no one else but John Sawchek. He calls the racist, mentally ill 54-year-old white neighbor next door. He calls him a constant problem in their Minneapolis, Minnesota neighborhood.
Essentially, my neighbor's a big bully. He has a long and storied history of bullying people in the neighborhood.
Bullying, racist name-calling, obvious near-deadly force. This horror story of race, the law, and protection of black lives in Blackland.
And now,
as a brown person, you just feel so invisible.
Where we're from.
Brothers and sisters, I welcome you to this joyful day.
We celebrate freedom. Where we are.
Get on the ground!
I know someone heard something.
And where we're going.
We the people means all the people.
The Black Information Network presents Blackland with your host, Vanessa Tyler.
We saw the video. A white neighbor who had been a problem making good on a threat touched a tree and get shot. Davis Moturi was in his yard when a bullet hit him directly in his neck. And it's a miracle Davis Moturi is here to speak with me. Davis, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Surveillance video caught the entire thing. It was very upsetting to even watch. You went down in a split second.
Just pain, I've never been shot before. I wasn't aware what it felt like.
The bird's eye view from up high mounted cameras shows the bullseye shot right to Davis Moturi's neck. He went down in an instant in his Minneapolis, Minnesota yard last October, rolling around in agony.
In that second, I kind of thought I had something wrong with the chainsaw because I was, doing some yard work. But yeah, just a lot of pain. I mean, my mind was just in survival mode. I knew something was wrong. I knew I needed to get inside. I knew I needed to get help. And, I fought through and I went and did that.
Did you have any idea that you had been shot by your neighbor?
I didn't know what happened because I think part of that was because when I was shot, the bullet struck my spine and then I also fell and cracked my skull.
What is the deal with the tree?
Essentially, my neighbor's a big bully. He has a long and storied history of bullying people in the neighborhood. If something isn't being done to his liking, there's going to be violence. And the countless videos and stories from other people who have been affected are evidence of that.
Were those other people black?
Yes. The other people who encountered some of the worst, especially in regards to a gun, that was a black family.
Davis Moturi says white neighbor John Sawchek is a homegrown terrorist and was very successful running off black people like the woman who had the house before and used to live there with her kids.
I think it was a woman from Western Africa, and she was terrorized by John as well, had pointed guns at her multiple times, had actually left a gun in the window for them to see, just on display. And she had called the cops numerous times. She tried to get help numerous times. She, called 911, did everything that she's supposed to. And uncoincidentally, MPD had the same exact response for her as they did for me. Nothing came of it. He was never arrested. I don't think there was even a warrant. I only found out about that story after I got shot.
The police response, another part of this nightmare. Where were the Minneapolis, Minnesota police? A black man was shot and says his neighbor did it.
When it happened to me, there was nothing. I mean, they didn't even, I don't even think they took pictures of the evidence was still there. They didn't even care to take pictures of it or even take the actual, weapons.
After you were shot, what did the police do? Nothing then after you were been shot?
So after the numerous incidences where I reported him with guns and knives and all that, threats he made to kill me, pointing guns at me, all that stuff, I came to realize that like these people don't care. They either want to see me dead or don't care if I'm dead. Either way, it's clear that death is around the corner. And, when they said like, oh, we're scared to go in.
Cops scared to go in? Davis Moturi says that's what a ranking female officer told him.
She said, like, I'm not risking my officers. I'm not putting my officers at risk. I don't think they were scared at all. They just didn't want to take that risk for a person of my color. And it's clear because I reported these incidents numerous times. It wasn't just some words. It was a weapon in your face. It was a knife. Someone come at you with a knife, in that level, I wouldn't even call it negligence. I would call that like you're trying to kill someone. They just don't care. They just treating me as if I was, gum on their shoe. And, that was pretty consistently my experience dealing with MPD.
We are not going to bust the door down, guns blazing, and get into a deadly force situation. That's not going to happen.
That's the Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara at a news conference justifying waiting to arrest the armed white neighbor accused of shooting a black man from the window while perched inside his home. The community was outraged and put the heat on Police Chief O'Hara and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. It came to a head during a city council meeting where Councilwoman Andrea Jenkins, who is black, demanded something be done to the white shooter now.
We have to take violent criminals off the street. So I'm not a police officer. I don't know how that gets done, but I know it needs to get done.
That set up a battle with the chief blaming budget cuts, 40% of the force gone, and pure politics. This department is notorious and constantly under fire since...
I can't breathe, man. Please.
It's the same department where the cops who worked here killed George Floyd, a department currently under DOJ consent.
If we did go in with a SWAT team and wound up in a deadly force situation, the headlines would read, MPD shoots a mentally ill person.
Mayor Frey agrees. Handling someone like John Sawcheck takes caution and time.
We're talking about a person with mental illness that has firearms likely in the home, in a residential neighborhood.
For Davis Moturi, a black man healing from a bullet to the neck, it all sounds like excuses. He believes if the suspect was black, police would have gone in guns blazing.
They're telling me we're not going to go in and I know he's not coming out. Then it's like, well, again, they're still willing to risk other people's lives because he'd shot me through a window and they don't seem to care about other people who are at risk, which is, I just don't get it.
Eventually, about 5 days after a bullet was lodged in Davis Moturi's neck, the chief announces Minneapolis police got John Sawcheck.
Minneapolis police exhausted all of our efforts to peacefully bring the situation to a resolution. Minneapolis police officers waited for days for the individual to emerge from the house, and he never did. Thankfully, our officers were able to peacefully arrest this individual tonight after several hours of a SWAT operation. Ultimately, the individual was safely emerged from the house prior to us needing to insert gas into the house. That was our next step that we were prepared to do.
But at one point, the chief even blamed the black man for his own fate.
In addition, the situation escalated in part by actions that were precipitated by the victim.
The chief says it all stems from that tree.
Ultimately, what precipitated the shooting was the cutting of a tree that this individual had planted with his mother, who apparently he had a very deep attachment to, and that's ultimately what prompted the shooting.
Police now forced to apologize to a black family they're supposed to protect and serve.
Yes, we failed this victim. He should not have been shot. But I will say this, we had no reason to suspect that he would shoot the neighbor from inside the house. There is no question that there was a failure here, because this person did not deserve it to come to this point.
For Moturi, that's not good enough. He says the chief should resign, and so should the mayor, for the way they handle what could have been his end. The neighbor, by the way, has a new place to stay, the Hennepin County Jail, facing attempted murder charges. Moturi is back in his own house.
He is in custody. I'm still in my home. I refuse to be driven out by terrorists. I'm a red-blooded American just like anyone else, and nobody's going to get me off land that I rightfully own.
I'm Vanessa Tyler. Join me next time on Blackland. Like and subscribe. Look for a new episode every week.